I had a great experience going through the Naval Medical Center Portsmouth.
Yeah.
Through Prime. I had an amazing doctor. My delivery was 10 times better than my civilian delivery was with my first one. And I don't know if that's because I got to have my VBAC, and so I was just like, yes, empowered. It was awesome.
Hello and welcome. This is Adventures from the Home Front. I'm Olivia. This is Kate, Amanda, and Jessica. And today we're going to be talking about pregnancies while in the military.
I think we need to just address the elephant in the room.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we forgot one introduction. Besides my dog, you need to stop. Hey, get down. Okay, so we have one more introduction to make, and that would be baby James.
My sweet little man.
Yep. He's joining us today for the filming.
Well,
It's okay, we're good moms. Okay. We got this. Magic of editing.
hopefully we get some more views.
So you'll have to bear with us if this is a little jumpy with the editing, because we are working with a little one here.
Yes. Which I am definitely blaming my husband on. See, Daddy was too tired this morning.
Which can happen.
Yeah.
Gotta love that nuke life. Our first question today is, how many kids do you have, and what advice do you have for military spouses going through being in the military and getting pregnant or wanting to get pregnant? So I actually only have one baby that actually has fur. I have a 10-month-old hound mix, so he's a little pupper right now. So I'm excited to hear advice from you guys today to kind of get me prepared in case anything happens. But we actually are waiting, hopefully, till after he gets out of the military is our plan. That sometimes plans change, but
Always good to be prepared.
exactly. But I'm excited to have some insight from you gals that have been through it a couple of times. Jess over there, so
Okay, so I'll start. So I have been through pregnancy twice while my husband's been in the military. We have a 3.5-year-old, and we just had a baby in August, so he's 6 months now. So just recently coming off of being pregnant, and I can say that the second time around was a lot harder. That's not always the case though, so don't get afraid if this is your second one, because some people's second pregnancies go better than the first. It's just all kind of depends. Every pregnancy is different. But I would say the advice that I would give anybody who's maybe becoming a first-time mom, or maybe you're thinking about trying to get pregnant, I would say number one is don't put too much pressure on yourself if you're trying to conceive, because we struggled with infertility for a while, and it's really easy to just beat yourself up. So just give yourself some grace, and it will happen when it's supposed to happen. And the second piece of advice that I would give is something that I wish somebody would have told me, is that when you're dealing with your healthcare providers, from the time you find out that you're pregnant to the time that you deliver, and even after, don't be afraid to speak up. If you feel like you want to say something, then just say it. And if you feel like somebody is treating you badly, or you want to discuss things that they say, oh, we don't need to talk about that, just push it, because you're in charge ultimately. So,
Yeah. Well, I have one little boy. He's about to be 2 years old. Little chunk monster he is. Hopefully we'll have another one soon. I think, me and my husband are finally ready to, expand our family a little bit more. I would say a piece of advice would be, definitely think about your options. Just because your spouse is in the military doesn't mean that you have to use a military doctor. There's so many options out there. One of the first things I did was change over to standard, which you can do at any time once they're because it's such a life-changing moment. So they do allow that for pregnancy, and it was the best decision because I was able to, go out and find my own doctor, figure out, what best fit our situation. Then that way you can kind of pick your hospital and all of that. And I just love that. That was like the best part of it. So.
Awesome.
What about you, Kate?
Well, as you can see, I have one little monster over here. He just turned 8 months. And I guess some advice that I would give is definitely look into all of the resources available to you that the military provides. So I know for my husband and I, we had absolutely no idea how to raise a baby or what the birthing process was going to be like, what all you have to go through. And it was wonderful that the hospital that we actually delivered at offered free classes. So we took a breastfeeding class, we took a birthing class, and they just give you so much good information that just kind of eases all the worries that you might have. Because I know my biggest was the epidural. And I was absolutely mortified. I was like, I don't think I can do this. And it was nice because they actually show you what that process is like.
Because you think about it, it's scary.
It's very scary.
But it helps.
Oh, definitely.
That's good. And even outside of whatever hospital you choose to deliver, I know Fleet and Family, for the Navy at least, they offer parenting classes. They have a class that's offered from, I believe, Marine Relief Society, and it's called Budget for Baby, which is great because they will take you through the moment you find out that you're expecting, how to start putting money away, or even before that, what the baby's going to cost you in the first year, diapers, formula. They'll talk about different programs like WIC that'll help you out with just food supplements for if you're breastfeeding, or formula if you decide to formula feed. And then at the end of the class, everybody receives a little, it's really cute. It's like a little, your first baby, what is it, like a gift. You get receiving blankets and
Isn't it like a little baby sea bag?
Yes, that's all it is. Okay, good. I'm glad you remembered that. Yeah, it's a little baby sea bag, and they've got bibs and sheets, and we got onesies, and just so much, which for when you're starting out with your first baby, it really goes a long way.
I was really surprised that they sent you a free pump.
Yes.
When I went in, to the doctor's office, they were like, okay, fill out this paper on which pump you want. And I was like, oh, isn't that something I have to put on my registry? And they were like, no, TriCare sends you a free one. I was like, oh, yeah.
TriCare covers breast pumps now. So for my first pregnancy with Porter, they did not cover breast pumps. So we had to pay out of pocket for that. And that was our biggest ticket item on our registry. It was more than our crib. It was more than our stroller.
Oh my
Those things are expensive.
Electronic, or is it the manual ones?
No, it was electronic. I was not about to sit there.
And
people do it.
Yeah.
I just was not one who could. And now, baby James,
I'm here. But also there is a website, it's called Heart Cell Medical, and TriCare covers it, and they will send you a breast pump, tons of bottles, you get freezer bags to store your breast milk, which is wonderful.
And that's monthly. You can get more freezer bags.
Yeah.
It's not just like you get this pack and that's it throughout your whole entire time breastfeeding.
You call monthly and they'll send you new parts for your breast pump. And then the other nice thing that I like about them is they give you a free gift every time you order new parts.
Oh.
So the first time I called, yes, we got a cute little baby mat, and it was like this plush little cow.
Aww.
Yay! And then we got a bag for the breast pump, which was nice. Yeah.
He's like, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember. But all you have to do is basically just take the form into I believe it's the doctor's office on base. They fill out the form and then you just fax it or email it in, and then within yes. Thank you. My hair's all messed up now. I think we received our first package within like 3 to 5 days.
Oh, good.
So they are wonderful.
Awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, that's totally good information.
Yeah.
So speaking a bit about TriCare, because I know Amanda talked about what she did. How did you guys go about finding your doctor, either through TriCare, with military, civilian? What were your kind of experiences with that? Because that is foreign language to me.
Yeah.
It's so confusing.
Well, I know I was a little spoiled at first because
Here, girl. I'll take it. You talk. Here.
I'm here.
Mommy's good talking.
We actually found out that we were pregnant in Charleston, and so in Charleston they don't have an OB/GYN clinic, so they make you go in to take a pregnancy test to verify that you are pregnant, and then from there you go on to a website. Did you go onto the website? Do you remember what it was? It was on was it on TriCare's website?
To find the
civilian doctor?
yeah,
Humana military? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think you would go. You're the one who went on standard. So do you go to TriCare's website and choose TriCare standard?
Nope, I called TriCare, the 1-800 number. I just told them that I am pregnant and that I want to switch over to standard, and they were like, okay. So I asked them when it takes into effect, and they said the very next day.
Okay.
And that was it. So
It was a little bit different for us because I know we received, I believe it was like an email address that we could go to that we received at Navy Medical at the time, because since they don't have a civilian doctor in Charleston, we didn't have to transfer our insurance.
Oh, yes. Now I know what you're talking about. Okay, yeah. So once you find out that you're pregnant, you have to go, if your base that you're located on is a little more rural and they don't have OB/GYN providers, then you have to go and you take a pregnancy test at that facility. And once they determine that yes, you are pregnant, they will send out a referral.
That's what it is.
Yep, they'll put a referral in the system, and all you have to do is call the central appointments line, and they will set you up with a provider.
So that's exactly what I did. But I say I was spoiled because I had such a wonderful civilian doctor in Charleston. I mean, she answered every question that we had. They had a wonderful ultrasound set up, is like on the big screen. Everything was super clear. So yes, the first time I saw him, it was ugly crying. Like just, it was a wonderful moment. But since we've moved here, everything kind of changes from, different stations.
Yeah.
So after that, we basically had to call TriCare and get a healthcare provider through Navy Medical here. And then that's when we found out that we had to go to a Navy doctor instead of civilian, because we didn't necessarily have the availability to switch over to standard, because you have to make that co-payment, and well, that's at least what we were told. It might be different. But we just couldn't afford that at the time.
Yeah. I feel like we didn't make any co-payments when the only thing that we paid for was we were able to get like a gender blood test really early through a company called Harmony. They determine the sex of the baby at 10 weeks.
I'm so jealous.
And it was like $70.
That's
That's
awesome.
what we paid for. So, but they, I guess it's like the same, I can't remember what it's called, but like they stick the needle in your stomach.
Amniocentesis.
It's like the same thing, but they do it in your arm like an IV now. And so they check for like all the major complications. And one of the things that they check for is the gender, because they count the X and Y chromosomes. So that's how they're able to determine. But that was the only thing that we really paid out of pocket. So, which, you know, everybody has a different
You want
opinion.
mama?
Like, and a different.
Sorry, Amanda.
No worries. Some people have to pay co-pays, some people don't. I'm not sure
totally
why it is, but yeah, it worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
So.
So we were at Charleston with our first, and so we did the same process, like you said. We were just referred out to a civilian doctor. Yeah, they didn't have the infrastructure for OBGYNs at that location. But then here, we actually went through TriCare Prime. I've always been on Prime. I've never been on Standard. And, you know, what I would say when you're trying to make that decision is you'll hear a lot of positive experiences and negative experiences when it comes to delivering at a military healthcare facility. And what I would like to say is to just keep in mind that whether you deliver at a military facility or not, there's positive and negative experiences across the board in healthcare regardless.
Yeah.
So if you're in the same situation that Kate was in, where like, I don't know if there's co-pays that we need to pay, I don't know if we could do it, we just need to stick with
what we know
with Prime, or, and this might be different, I don't know anything about if you're active duty and you're pregnant, if you even have an option of going Standard, or if you can only do at a military healthcare facility. But just know that if that's something that you're struggling with, that you can have a great experience. I had a great experience going through the Naval Medical Center Portsmouth.
Yeah.
Through Prime. I had an amazing doctor. My delivery was 10 times better than my civilian delivery was with my first one. And I don't know if that's because I got to have my VBAC, and so I was just like, yes, empowered. It was awesome.
Yes.
But that's another thing. So here in the Hampton Roads area, a lot of civilian hospitals will not let you have a VBAC, which is vaginal delivery after cesarean. So I had a C-section with my first. So keep this in mind. A lot of civilian healthcare facilities, they aren't set up with enough staff to safely attempt VBACs.
Oh, wow.
So I was told that Naval Medical Center Portsmouth is a great place to deliver if you want to try for a VBAC, because they have enough staff where it's safe to do so.
That's wonderful.
So that's a great thing to consider too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I went with the Prime and I had a great experience. Some people have bad experiences, but
We definitely did deliver at Portsmouth as well, and we had a wonderful experience. And they were great because, so he was a big baby for me. I'm not even 5'2", and he came out weighing almost 9 pounds. And during the delivery, I actually broke my tailbone. Yes. So, and I have back problems, so I thought it was my back. So the nurse, like the look on her face, she was like, "What was that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's my back. It's no problem at all." Like this happens all the time. And then after the epidural wore off, I was like, "Oh no, I can't sit. I can't lay down. I can't do anything."
that's awful.
But they were great to like realize, like, okay, you know, since I said it wasn't my tailbone, I said, you know, it was my back. They were they trusted me enough, and they realized how much pain I was in, so they took, you know, really good care of me after, you know, postpartum.
That's awesome.
That's really great.
That's awesome. I know the when I delivered in
want your
Hawaii, the major
Blueberries on it.
what do you call it? Military hospital out there has a bad rep. So it was like the day that I peed on the stick, I was like, I'm going to Standard, like, this is what I'm gonna do. So I ended up going with like an all-women's facility or whatever, and it was just like, it was such an awesome experience. I feel like that's what I'm gonna want the second time around. Like, they have such big shoes to fill. So anybody out there in the Hampton Roads area, if you had awesome what do you call it, birth experience at your hospital, please comment below. I would love to know. Definitely need some feedback there because I'm new to the area and I don't know, all the places that you can have. But yeah, that would be great.
Yes, because you're thinking about another one, right?
Yes. Yes.
All right, you guys, well, I think we're going to take a break right there. This is a long video. I think it's going to be a couple videos. So that was part 1. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and tune in next week for part 2. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.